Welcome to Kung Fu Advocate number 2. I am your host, Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I am going to make this video for fun. I'm also doing a live Instagram as I did a live TikTok night show last night. We have a pretty decent charge. Now going to be on here past maybe 1:15, but just to get the flow going and stuff. First thing you need to know if you're into swords, especially like martial arts swords, like katanas and samurai swords and other various aspects of martial arts swords, as in Chinese fighting swords and sabers and hook swords and shit like that. For the Japanese art of ninjutsu or aikido, you will more than likely train with one of these sabatus or shiite or a kendo stick or whatever. You know, and you need to learn this before you get your hands on an actual steel weapon. Now, for the record, yes, you can kill somebody with a simple wooden stick and in the shape of a sword. You can still do the exact same thing that you could do with a real sword with this wooden sword, which is why you're going to train with the wooden sword first. It is very important to know that your angles of cutlery are very important. So slash, slash, block, block, slash, slash, stab. You know, those things are going to be important. As I tell you, in real life, this is not going to happen. All right? If you're training at home, then you're good. But when you get into a real sword fight, that is probably the worst thing you can attempt to do, is sit here and be like, well, yeah, watch what I can do. Cling. Now you know why you don't do that. You also know why I wear gloves. Clearly they have failed. But understand that if that sword comes out your hand while you're trying to be a badass, you've lost your life. So don't do that. Practice your basics. Block, 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 low block, low block. Practice your strikes. Strike, strike, thrust, low strike, high strike. Now, in its design, your blocks, like this, to protect your central line, they also go all the way down and all the way back around. They're there to protect your central line. Practice with both your left hand at the top and then your right hand. You will find the one that's most comfortable and the one in which your wrist and your hand doesn't really feel like it's going to fall off. You know? So your strikes, and switch hands, because you're going to be able to acquire both sides of this technique. It's kind of like you don't just teach somebody how to punch with your left hand and kick with your left foot without teaching them how to kick and punch with their right hand and the right foot. Set a person who actually has both hands and feet. Right? If that person only has a left foot and a right foot, or a left hand and a right foot, or a left foot and a right hand, or just their left appendages, which means they don't have an arm or a leg on the other side, or vice versa, then you got to do a little bit more work. All right? And I know that everybody gets tired of hearing me say you got to do more work. You got to put more work in. The fact of the matter is, once you start taking a martial art, you're going to put in that work. You want to get something out of it, you got to put everything into it. You got to put in that 110%. And to be honest, 190% of that is probably just going to be in your head. All right? Now, the other 10%, you can tell my math sucks, right? The other 10% is more going to be physical, because your physical capabilities will reflect your mental capabilities, depending on your teaching, depending on your skill set, depending on how much you put into it, depending on how long you've been doing it. I've been doing martial arts since I was 7, so I am fairly decent at it. I do not like sword work, but it doesn't hurt to not know it. All right? Be well-rounded. And remember, this is movie shit. It's shit you want to train at home with or practice in the gym. But when you start doing competition like fencing and shit like that, you're not going to be doing none of that shit. It's going to be block, block, strike, 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 strike. And your opponent's going to block, block, strike, strike. Fencing is one-handed. But with swords and sabatus, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be two-handed. Strike, 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 thrust, strike. Now, a lot of people complain about the reverse grip. You can still use the reverse grip. Strike, strike, which is what this is. The problem is, in real life, you're not going to get the chance to do that. You know, you can practice it all you want. It's never going to hurt to practice it. But I can almost guarantee you, in real life, you're probably not going to get the chance if you're going against someone who does the same shit as you. So unless both of y'all time this shit perfectly, you're doing something. And in all times. Why do we call it your central line? It is apparent that if someone takes a samurai sword through your skull and cuts you in half, you are more than likely going to die. Hopefully it will be instant and you won't suffer very long. But if it's not instant and you suffer very, very long, I'm sorry. That's why they teach you to block, 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 block. Because that way you don't have someone come down and take your central line. This person is striking this way, you can block this way, so they hit there. You can block this way, so they hit there. You can bat it away, and as you bat it away, you want to step the hell out of the way. You know, or you bat it away, you still want to step the hell out of the way. You don't want to step in the direction in which they're swinging most of the time. But sometimes shit happens. So if they're coming straight down and you step this way, you're batting it away and you can slide down their arm and decapitate their shit. Or you bat it away, so you're coming this way, you batted it, and now you can kick them. Understand how that works? So, bat and slice, because I've got them over this way, and I've come across their body. My target being the throat, damn, the chest. You gotta understand, there are certain armors that don't have protection. Fencing armor has taught me about the Ned J thingy-majig. I can't pronounce it. That's a shout out to my brother Roland. But you know, to protect your neck. You know, but a lot of armors in ancient time really didn't have that shit. So when you bat it away and you slice, it would be your sword touching the back of their sword or the side of your sword, and you're pushing it off. Now you're sliding down their arm, because you could always bat it and then chop off their arms. You know, do a short strike, boom, you know, wouldn't take long. But if you want to end the fight quickly, when you bat it away, you're off with their head. All right. Now, if you want to learn true techniques on sword fighting, you probably want to take a fencing class, and then you want to take a martial art class. All right. And I know everybody's like, well, you're in martial arts, why would you send us to a fencing class first? I'm not good at fencing. I know the blocks that I was taught with this here sword. You know, block, 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 block. Fencing has a hell of a lot more finesse to it. I don't have that. So I'm going to send you to somewhere where you can get that, and then you can improve your martial arts sword game by being good at fencing. Boom, boom, boom. You know, boom, boom, boom. Block, 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 block. But the blocks are also strikes. A lot of people aren't aware that a block and a strike can be one and the same. Now, if you take Kenpo or Kenpo or Kendo, then you will understand that concept that this is not just a block. It can also be a strike. Because I can block and counter, I can block and counter, I can block and counter, I can block and counter. But when you see that counter, it can also be a block. Because I don't have to go here and be closer to me to block it, but I can block out and then turn the blade. Alright? Hopefully that's making some sense to you. And if it's not, I'm sorry. Get it to a professional swordsman so that they can teach you what I have not worded correctly. But also in closing, remember that this is movie shit and good for training only at home. Alright? Now we're going to go on to my plethora of usual weapons. And yes, we are going to do bound fighting. For those who do not know what that is when I fight with my hands tied up. And remember, this is all just for fun, so we're going to go out with the nunchucks first. Alright? Understand your hand range, understand your ability to change the weapon and recover. As you can see, it went from close range to mid-range. Now it's back at close range. For those who can't understand that, top of the chuck, close range. You don't have a lot of striking distance that you are allowed to have someone get to you. Middle of the chuck, mid-range. You got a little bit more striking distance, maybe not so much fluently or control. Bottom of the chuck, long range. Now, for however long my arm is, time to stick when I swing it. That's the striking distance. That keeps them far enough away. Make sure you have a good grip. So when I put that grip behind that damn thing, whoever gets hit, they're going to know they were hit. Alright? Simple as that. They're going to know they were fucking hit. Understand, you are probably not going to block like this, like you see in the movies. I'm not going to say you can't. I'm just going to say you probably aren't going to get the time. You know? Now, if that person doesn't have a weapon and they throw an axe kick, yeah, you can block like that. Or you can bat it away, or bat it away. You know, you can do a lot of things with these nunchucks. But for every good that you can do with them, every weapon has a weakness, and generally it's the person working it. So, you know, like if I'm doing this, and you're coming at me, I wasted my time. If you're coming at me, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be at the ready. You're coming at me, boom, I'm out. Pull it back. You're coming at me, boom, boom. You know, double strike, boom, boom. I'm back. Boom, back again. This here, practicing at home. When you get ready to get into a tussle with these damn things, they need to be at the ready. Position and take off, boom, doesn't matter. Boom. You need to know how to use these son bitches. You need to understand how these work. Boom, that's a block, but I put my hand here, not just to block my opponent's strike, but if these things hit solid and they come back, they're going to hurt. So I need to make sure that I'm good. You know, strike out, strike out. Now, working them. Only good training at home. You're just playing with them. You know, you get into a fight, no one's going to let you sit here and work these chucks. They're not. So here, strike, strike, back to front, boom, boom, back to front, out, back, out. See how that block works? That block's to protect you from knocking yourself the fuck out. Boom, boom. Now you also gotta watch the person and how they're coming at you. They're coming from that side, boom, you're going there. They're coming from that side, going there. They're coming from the front, boom, get it out, get it back. Now last night I mentioned throwing stars. You are not going to do this to a throwing star. You are going to do this. Because if you try to do this, it's going to get through and you're going to lose an eye. The hands are quicker than the eye. But an object in motion stays in motion until it hits its target. So if someone's throwing a throwing star at you, you probably won't see it until it's too late. So you want to protect your face, your body. You can take a star to the hand a hell of a lot better than you can take a star to the eye. Star to the eye, fight's pretty much over. Star to the hand, you can still fight with that son of a bitch in your hand. Alright? Keep that shit in mind. That go in your eye, man, it's done. You're not going to say it's going to kill you, but you're not going to have an eye. I'd rather get the star in my hand and batter away at the chucks than lose an eye. You know? Boom. This is why they teach you your blocks. You know, your karate block, block. And then you got nunchucks. It's not going to be your karate block and then block. See how that swings around? That's going to hurt you. So if you're going to block with the hand with the nunchucks in it, boom, you're blocking, and you're blocking. Boom, boom, boom. Understand how that works? Boom, boom. Now, if they gotten too close where you can't swing out, then you're gonna have to hit them like this. Boom. Now just step back. Boom. You're tying. Yes, that stung a little bit. Boom. But that's why my block should have been down here, but it wasn't. So you understand the mistake that I made. You will make those mistakes if you don't practice. And when you practice, this here, that just means you can roll them around your body. I don't recommend doing that one, especially since I just grazed across my private parts a second ago. But I understand how these things work. In actual combat, you're not going to get the chance to do all of this. You're just going to need to use them. So you either use it from the underarm or the outer arm. You go back into the control position, right back here. Those are pretty much your legal and logical strikes. Okay, because guys coming, boom. Alright? Reload it, boom. 9 times out of 10, you're in a fight. You swing these motherfuckers until you can. And by swinging them until you can't, I don't mean this. This builds up momentum and everything, and that's great. Just one problem. That guy that's coming at you at like raging speed, this ain't helping you. You need to be ready to strike. Yes, I fucked that up. Purposefully so. To make a point. This, that teaches you where the chuck is at. In fact, all of this teaches you where the chuck is at. Now, when you start striking people, you need to know where that chuck is going. When that chuck hits someone in the head, you need to be able to get it. Follow through. You know? Because if you don't, I showed y'all with the chain, I'll show you again, but that there is not a good move because it got caught up under my arm. That there would be for this strike right here. This strike is the one that I should have done. You're over here, boom, boom. Under here, boom. You want to strike out. Striking in, it's a good chance you're going to fuck yourself up. So you don't want to do that, you know? Alright, so now real good with double nunchucks. The concentration takes longer, or for me it takes longer. Then trying to figure out how to keep both the chucks swinging at the same time without hitting each other or myself is a bit taxing. I don't ever recommend double nunchucks, but if you have them, you have them. Boom. See how close that came to hitting me in the face, right? When they went under my arms, they almost hit me in the face. Just think if that would hit me in the face on live and knocked myself out with practice chucks. Practice chucks are just as dangerous as the real McCoy. Don't ever forget that. Now, for all medicinal purposes, I will be looking in that direction. Why am I looking in that direction? Because this is not real. This is real. Boom. That's how you train, not this. Because if I'm looking at you and I'm in a real fight, I can't tell what my enemy's doing. And by not being able to tell what my enemy's doing, I'm a dead man. So, if you're training in front of the camera, get out of the habit of looking in the camera. Do your thing. You can review it later. You know? So, if I'm looking at the camera before I train, it is so that I don't look at the camera while I'm training. So, start here, and we go crane. Ready? So, there, tap, back to front, there, got that, tap. You don't want to take your eye off your target. Period. Now, depending on who's teaching you what, rings are very dangerous. These are not real rings, but the real ones are very dangerous, and they hurt like shit, but practice rings hurt too. Let me make this clear for anyone who's listening, who's a martial artist or not. A practice weapon is still a weapon. Treat it as if it's real. Respect it as if it's real. Because getting hit with these things, they hurt. Knowing how to protect, you can't protect constantly, all the time. This is me swinging lightly. That's gonna bruise up. Exhaling, I can't exhale every time you hit me. So I need to know how to block. You know, I need to know how to block. I need to do it with my left hand as well. Block. I need to protect my central line. Now what I'm now gonna do is this. Soon. Some people can do that shit gracefully. I can't. I'm not going to say it's useless, but I am going to say it's useless for me because I'm old. I can't play with you if I'm fighting these things. You're here. My focus needs to be here. You throw a kick, I block it. I can counter with karate, I can counter with kung fu. Block and then strike. If I block your kick and strike, I still have this protecting you. So kick, strike, and I can strike again. Or block the kick, strike, wrap it around your head. Boom, bring it to a knee for kung fu. Block, strike, double, for karate. I switched up. Right? It's a really thin line between kung fu and karate. If you know both, you're in good shape. Start taking kendo, start taking kempo, start taking kinpo. It's the same damn thing. Take a keto. Take hard keto. Take as many martial arts styles as you can. Even if you only take one class, take it so that you can learn how to defend yourself against someone else using that art on you, which is the whole reason why I took martial arts in the first place. It wasn't about getting better. It's about getting better than the motherfucker that passed me.
Wake up and get Saga. It's 1 o'clock p.m.
Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm going to go a little longer because I'm going to use all the weapons first, and then I'm going to end live and YouTube. So, again, when you're training, you're focused on the opponent that you're training on. Keep your eye away from the camera. You can always go back and watch it and improve yourself. And after you post it, you're going to get a lot of critiques. Take the critiques with a grain of salt and do the damn thing. Commas. For real life purposes, you don't do this. Looks cool when you pull it off right. That would have cut my arm to pieces. I understand. You go in there like this, or you go in there like this, or like this. In the middle of a battle, you don't do this. You will die. Hey, you want an honest man, I'm going to give it to you. Block, strike, pull back. Not block, strike, pull out, whip, and then strike. And as cool as that is, it's years of practice, and I would never tell anybody to do that with a real comma. And if you got one of those metal training commas that's been filed down so that you can't hurt yourself, or so that you can't cut yourself, you might be able to get away with it. You see people on YouTube spinning it on their hands, on Instagram, and their hands are flat, and they're just doing that, but it's going like this in a complete circle. Alright? As long as it's a filed down, unsharpened comma, I really can't say anything to them about it. However, I will say two things. One, in real life, generally the sharpness of the blade does help, but it's also the force behind the blade. And secondly, you're not going to get the chance in real life to slice out, pull out, whip it around, and come back. You're not going to get that chance because you're fighting. Fightings don't stop until they are over. Understand that shit. You get misled by the movies a lot. Alright? Fightings keep going even during commercial breaks. Don't y'all watch wrestling? Yes. Fighting keep going during commercial breaks. They don't all sit down and stop. Now, they have done that a couple of times doing a Zoom when they were doing it because it was caught on somebody's Twitter or some shit. somebody was in the Zoom box watching it, so they posted it or whatever. Because they were Sasha Banks and Bailey. I'm not gonna swear to it, but when you're in a fight, you block and you strike. And you pull out, you go back. You don't block, strike, pull out, whip it, and then strike again. Now in the movies, that's just gonna be cool, like this. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, yeah, because it's a movie. It's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to draw you in so that you watch it. Alright? The thing about weapons is you're rarely gonna use your hands and feet in stuff. Commas, you will probably use your hands and feet. Strike, gash, gash, pull it out, gash, kick them off, which means you're ripping this out. Alright? So you're gonna have to understand you're not gonna be using a lot of high flying moves with commas because you can injure yourself trying to bust a tornado kick. Boom, boom. You know, wrong move, you cut off your own fucking leg. Alright, by the magic of my imagination, now these are tapas. So, again, like I said last night, you're gonna find your niche. I don't like coming from the inside to the outside. I like coming from the outside to the inside because I have better control. You will find what works for you. Boom, boom, boom. Now, what you don't do is boom, boom, while trying to do that because you're going to hurt yourself. So basically, if you're going to use a tapa, use a tapa first. Boom, boom, and then kick. Versus boom, kick, and then tapa. You got a tapa. You're not going to do a lot of kicking unless you get in too close and you got to make space. Push off, then strike. Or block, and then strike again. You'll figure out your niche. Mine is not this, boom, and then that, because I have to get my body far enough out to release the comma. Understand? Boom, boom. If I'm not far enough out, I gotta crack my ribs. We don't want that. Boom. Also understand how these things work with your blocks. Boom. That's a down block. That's gonna work better for me. Boom, that's a down block. That's not going to work better because I still have to get my body far enough away from it. Again, you're not me. You'll be different. So you might like boom and then boom. I don't. If you do, it's not a crime. Boom. That just works better for me. It feels better. It feels more natural. The flow goes faster. Understand? Yeah. Block, block, strike. You know, you figure out your combos. You know, commas and tapas are not jokes. Commas you won't whirl as much. Tapas you will. As soon as I buy real tapas, since I have some money, I'll actually be able to show you better technique and more. Show bowls, short sticks. Again, this movie stuff. Real life, block, strike, block, strike, block, block, strike, 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 block. Understand? But it's also a strike. Because if I'm throwing this, and he's just blocking, then I throw this, which means he has to block. Somewhere in there, if I can't get him with these sticks, I need to be able to get my foot in there. Or an elbow. So block, thrust, strike, strike, or block, thrust, block, strike, strike. But I see if he has short sticks, he's going to be blocking too. So like I said, blocks the thrust, he's going to block the strike. You know, maybe with the same hand, allowing him to strike with his free hand. Block, block, strike. You understand how you act your blocks? That's why you windshield wiper this motherfucker. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I call it a windshield wiper. Most people probably call that a standard block. But, you notice I'm stepping back because he's advancing. Boom, boom, boom. Now, these blocks are for strikes specifically coming down. If you want to block out, you're blocking out. So, I'm stepping back, block, block, block. Now, if I choose to advance after this block, I want to thrust first. A lot of people don't agree with that. The reason why I want to thrust first is because he still has the ability to block if he has both of his sticks. So, if I'm blocking, and I change up, because he's swinging, so I block and I change up. I can do that. He'll probably expect it so that he can block. He won't expect me to block, thrust, then swing, and then swing. The thrust is going to throw him off because he'll see it, and then while he's seeing that, he probably won't see this. So you have to understand how that works. And again, in real life, that's why you don't do that. You lose your weapon doing this shit in a fight, you lose your fight. You're gonna keep your chobos. Most of their targets, they're gonna rack your fucking knuckles. So if you're doing this, and they rack those knuckles, your hand's gonna automatically want to do that. So you're gonna not like have that stick. And then, especially if you're not wearing armor and the situation is real, you're gonna get fucked up. You may even get unalived. So no, when you go into battle, you go in like this, and if you're southpaw, you're doing Nunchucks, you go in reverse stance. And the reason why you do that is because this is a blocking posture. For that first strike, boom, I can go up or I can go out, or I can go in. Alright? And on batting it away, I can strike, but see now I've had to cross myself. So I don't really want to do that. I want to bat it out and then strike, or I want to bat it down and then strike. Alright? But I also have to remember that he has two hands. So if I bat it down and I go in, he can block my shit. And if he bats it down, I gotta be prepared for him batting it this way and how my body's gonna react, or batting it this way and how my body's gonna react. You have to be ready to be able to react to whichever way they bat away your weapon. Alright? Hope I made that clear. We gotta do the chain now, and then we'll do bound fighting, and then it's over. Because Days of Our Lives is out. Alright. Before I do anything with this chain, understand control. Understanding control is very important. And when I say understanding control, it means how do you stop your weapon. Now, normally y'all see me grab at one time. Like that makes it shorter. This is a controlled strike. That is a controlled strike. You see if you look at my body, that keeps me from going out of control. You want it to hit more muscle than bone if you have to stop it. Certain parts of your body can take blows better than the other. So you need to be able to control that stop. You see how that hit me in the face? That was not planned. But so that you know, you need to be able to control your weapon. Now, I'm not good with a meteor hammer. I'm not good with a rope dart. But I'm real good with this practice chain, which simulates the meteor hammer or the rope dart. Now, I reline them up, and I understand. This is range right here. I can keep this range all day. You're going to have to work to get in here. I ain't really got to use my hands and feet that much until you get past my defenses. Boom. Boom. Understand how to control your weapon. It's very important. Very, very important. You can't control your weapon's going to end you. Notice I said the word end you. Not control you, but straight up end you. Which means you're probably going to die. Or wish you were dead. That's why you have to learn control. You have to maintain control. That's why you have to keep control. And now for the fun stuff. Okay, so we'll spice it up a little bit. I will be getting that sword back, but not for the behind the back. As I say, and always will, unless I forget. So this is the permanent of this. You ever see me doing this? This is permanent. Do not attempt. It's easier to block with your hands in front than it is to block with your hands behind you. If you have not had this training, you need to find someone who actually knows how to do this. You need to find someone who actually has field tested this shit to understand the reality of fighting with your hands tied behind your back. It's not impossible. My arm itches. It's not impossible. It's highly improbable. And it's more than likely something you will only do in the movies. It is not likely unless you have a really, really messed up ass life where people are tying you up every day. Or if it's part of your sex life and you're into BDSM, if that's your thing, I'm not passing judgment, but if you're into that shit, good for you. But having your hands tied behind your back is a vulnerability that you don't want to ever have to have happen. I understand your blocks are limited to your flexibility. I'm not a very flexible person and I am old. So my blocks could be here or here. They don't look like they're going to help me very much, to be honest. They really don't. And so it really depends on what that person is throwing. And I pray that I can still take a hit to the face. Alright? I'm pretty sure I can still take a hit to the body, but I pray I can take a hit to the face. I've never prayed too much on the body. I've always prayed more on can I take a hit to the face. Because if I can take a hit to the face, I'm good. But if I can't take a hit to the face, I'm going to sleep. And God don't know what's going to happen to me while I'm unconscious. Because you're not going to know until you wake up. Same thing about, you never know when you fall asleep, you only know when you wake up. Because you've been asleep. I have slept with my eyes open in the yard. Snitched on myself. So, as usual, I give you the same drill because I need to beat this shit into your head. Alright? If your door's over there, you want your opponent over there. Let's repeat that. If your door's on your right, you're going to kick your opponent to your left. The best way to do that, the most powerful kick would be an outside to inside crescent kick. Providing that you are physically able to do so, that would look like this. You are the guy coming at me. Now I put you in this direction. I pop my hips in this direction, and I'm gone. Now I'm going to pray like fuck that that's not a locked door that I'm going to. But we may have a problem. Alright? If the door's on your right, well, your left, this side. And your enemy needs to go over this side. You are the enemy. I'm going to do an outside to inside crescent kick. This way I don't really have to engage you. I pray this kick knocks you the fuck out, and then I'm going over that way where the door is. So you're coming at me. It's the exact same kick I just did, only with the left leg. Now I set you over there. I'm setting my ass over here. This way I don't have to engage. If I have to engage, we're going to have a problem. How do you fuck up and have to engage? By my door being on my left and me using an inside to outside crescent kick, forcing me to have to engage with whoever the hell I just kicked in the face. You being the guy that kicked in the face, boom! I just put you between me and my exit. You don't ever want to do that, especially if you're not a good fighter. And even if you are a good fighter, take note. Fuck no. You want out. You don't want to engage. Your hands are tied behind your back. Doesn't matter how good you fucking are. You don't have a lot of protection. Understand that shit? You do not have a lot of protection. If you've never had your hands tied up and trained like this, I'm promising you, you can't really block everything. You are going to get fucked up. And if you take one to the right spot at the right dome with the right amount of power, you're going to sleep. Or you're going to be dead. So no, you do not want to engage. You want to do the opposite. Now let's say the only kick you've ever been taught is the inside to outside crescent kick. And you have to engage. I don't know what school you went to, but they failed you if this is the only kick you know. How many times do you think you're going to pull that off? How many times do you think you can pull that off before you get fucked up? So be well-rounded in all martial arts that you can learn. If you have 7 different martial arts in your city and they're teaching 7 different styles, take a class from each one. Spend a couple of months in each one. 3 months in this class, 3 months in that class, 3 months in another class. And if you have an accelerated learning curve like me, 2 weeks. No. But understand that simple saves lives. Fancy gets you fucked up. So for those who didn't see the show or the video for this video, this is what you're not going to do. This is also what you're not going to do. Your balance is off. Oh yeah. I do a jumping spin kick? I think I did that. I'm not sure, so we're going to do it again. You're not going to do any of that. And you're also not going to do this reverse tornado. As graceful as that may have looked to you, it sucked. And if you miss, you're also not going to do what's probably going to make me land on my face. This butterfly kick. I'll land on my face, y'all, and make that shit go viral. Okay? You're not going to do that with your hands tied behind your back. I mean, it can be done. You just saw them do them. You also can rate how much they fucking sucked. Because they did. Butterfly kick is an escape. Now, putting your hands back in front of you. This is easier. It's not better, but it's better than having your hands behind your back. I gotta tighten up my rope, sorry. Yeah, that came loose. Have your hands in front of you. You have the ability to block. Yes, I'm going to beat this into your head, especially for you people who are actually gonna attempt this shit, which is a very bad idea. High, medium, medium, low. High, medium, medium, low. Now, the reason why I added the knee is a blocking tool. Anyone who's teaching you martial arts, they don't tell you you can block with a crescent knee. That's that. Yeah, that's that. Either they haven't taken Thai fighting or American kickboxing, because that's like a central move. Or they haven't taken wrestling, where you can scoop down and scoop down. Now I don't do wrestling, and my hips don't work like that, so that's as good as you're gonna get. But I'm gonna make sure that if you come down at me, I'm gonna feed you a knee. Alright? My hands are tied, I can still use my legs, but I can still use my hands too. This rope is a weapon. And you might not know that, but it's a weapon. I'm gonna pick up that sword in a minute, the wooden one, to show you that you can still work the sword and things you should and shouldn't do. Alright, but first, again, you're not gonna do this butterfly kick. Again, if I go on my face, please make that shit go right in. So, okay? You're not gonna do the tornado kick. You're not gonna do the reverse tornado kick. And you're not gonna do the jumping spin kick. And I know to you, untrained eye, those look way better than they did when my hands tied behind my back. But there's a problem. First off, butterfly kick is an escape. There's an escape from a foot sweep this way or a foot sweep that way. Alright? My hip doesn't work, so I can't do it the way it's supposed to be done, plus I'm on grass. No excuses. But the butterfly kick is an escape. It's not really an assault, it's more of an escape. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people have forgotten that that's what it is. It's an escape. Second, tornado kick, forward or reverse. Finishing moves only. You will rarely get the chance to use them in an actual fight. In the gym, training, in the UFC, I've seen it pulled off, but they didn't connect. I've seen it in rec, I've seen it in One Champion, so it can be done. But if you miss, you're done. Now the jumping spinning kick, jumping spinning back kick. You know, if your hands are tied, I'm gonna be honest, you do not want your feet to ever really leave the ground. Maybe 1 foot at a time, you know, sequence, boom, boom. But not, you know, boom, boom. You've already kicked him, he's bent over. You wasted your time with that jumping spin kick. See what I'm saying? So if you kicked him, he's bent over. Boom. Drive that knee into his ass. Step right up to him and drive the knee into his ass. Or he's bent over, so take your rope, lock it around his neck, lock your hands and choke him. Same thing like put him in a guillotine, you're just using his fucking rope. You know, same thing. Just lock him up. He's already bent over from you kicking him. Try not to kill him, but choke him out. It's not that difficult. You know? Now understand that your hands are tied. You are still limited to your skill set. So if your skill set is worse than my skill set, don't attempt the shit you see me do. Block, knee, elbow, kung fu. Get out. Block, knee, elbow, karate. Get out. Do not keep trying to engage someone with your hands tied. Now, if you want to be advanced, now he's coming this way so I can actually show you better from the back side. Block, knee, elbow. Put your hands over his head, choke him with the rope. Again, this works so much better if I had an actual punching bag. A training partner. You know, if I had a training partner, it would work better because I could actually show you resistance. Because in resistance will show you real life on how much this is not going to work versus how much it's going to work. Because you have a plan. Plans don't always work. I understand. I say this in every fucking video and every fucking live. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for it, but I'm gonna say it because it's the truth. 1,000 things can go wrong in a fight before one thing goes right. You know, your variables are really slim to fighting with your hands tied being in your favor. Now in the movies, it's supposed to work because it's a fucking movie. In real life, I don't recommend this shit. You can get fucked up because I know how to do it. Doesn't mean it's gonna work. I told you, I field tested it. It doesn't always work. This block in knee, yeah, because I'm blocking, I'm kneeing. I can elbow him, and I can get the fuck out of dodge. I don't want to block a knee, elbow him, and then just keep going. Now, if there's no way out, then you do that. But if you got an escape route, you've subdued him with that knee to the gut. You really did. The elbow's extra. Sometimes you gotta be a little extra. So you block this, he's throwing a left punch. You step to your right, you got him on the outside. So you're currently doing kung fu. You're turning your knee into his guts. When you hit him, he's going to bend over unless this motherfucker was like a student of Tammy Lee Webb and Abs of Steel, where he can't feel pain there. Or if he took iron body technique, where he can't feel pain there, then you're gonna have a problem. Let's keep it real. There are skills. TIE fighters don't feel pain in many places. So you have to understand who you're fighting. Then you may have to continue. But if he's a normal person, you block and you strike and then you strike again, he's more than likely down for the count if you hit him right. If you don't hit him right, you may have to engage. And I pray that you hit him right so that you don't have to engage. Therefore, we're going to show you some targets. Abdominal sternum. He bends over. You're going to elbow him. So you want to elbow him in the base of his neck. You elbow him in the back of the head where that dip is, like right where my ponytail touches, right there. You can elbow him right there. You're probably going to make him black out for a minute. And 60 seconds isn't as long as you think, but it's also longer than you think when you're under stress. All right? Double-edged sword in everything. Everything I tell you is a double-edged sword. Everything I show you is a double-edged sword. Because sometimes, boom, 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 ain't going to work. Sometimes you probably will need boom, 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 boom. You may have to. But if you don't, then don't. If this takes him out, you get out. Your hands are tied. Don't throw away your ropes. When you go to the police, you want them ropes on at least one hand so they can understand the situation in case you had to kill this person. Hey, I was tied up. And they'll be like, well, how did you beat him? Well, I am an avid martial artist. He just didn't know it. He fucked with the wrong guy. I'm turning myself in, so if this guy dies, it'll be proven it was self-defense because I have ropes on my head. He tied them on my head. I couldn't get out, but he fucked up and tied me in the front. All right? Easier for me. And now, if you fail and you die, the ligature marks on your hand will make them question what went down. And that's all it takes for the law to get involved is that one question of what went down. And then they're going to be doing some research, especially if they find you dead. So they're going to research all of your social medias. They're going to research all your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever gender you have. They're going to research all this. They're going to question those. They're going to question everybody. And they're going to figure out who your enemies were, who your friends were, and who you pissed off on Sunday by pissing in the Cheerios. So they're gonna figure all that shit out. And they're going to take that plus your reputation, and they're going to form a case. And then they're going to go and try to get you justice if you die, because no matter who you are and how bad or something you may have done, no one really has the right to take your life. But in the event that you die fighting, because your hands were behind you versus your hands being in front of you, and you thought you were a badass, and you found out that, as I said before, this shit mostly only works in the movies. You have to get really lucky or fight somebody who's never had experience in fighting, then you're going to be in deep shit. Because this thing ain't always going to work. Which is why I told you what to do versus being able to tell you how much of a percent of it working. When you train with somebody and you're training, you're blocking. Alright? You want to train your blocks first. Then you want to train your counters. Block. Boom. Boom. pattern strength, but your hands have to learn how to work together. They have to learn how to work together. If they don't work together, you're gonna get fucked up. So you're blocking versus you're blocking, and this hand's just dangling. All right, block. See, I'm just pulling it along. It's not helping. They have to work together. Double block, 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 block. You know, my hands are tied. So I don't have hands. I have one hand and two arms. All right. Do not do this, because you might break your hands. You just want to block. Boop, boop. Slaps work, but when you slap, make sure you got your hand or got your rope so that you can add. You want to chop. You want to make sure everything's working together, which is like I said. You see me block, knee, elbow. There you go. Do not do this. You might break your hands. If you want to do this, that's different. You have a better chance of doing this without breaking your hands on the back of somebody versus this, where you very well could break your hand. So, don't do things that are going to break your hands. Don't do things that are going to get you in trouble. And if you're living a life where someone's tying you up and you have to fight to get free, you better be getting trained. Because if you're not, you got problems. And you have a hell of a crazy life. Final thing. So my hands are tied and I have this suboxone. My hands are tied because I won't be able to do this as effectively with my hands tied. Alright? And you're not going to do it either if your hands are tied. Because smart money is going to say, you're going to block, 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 and block, thrust, strike, 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 long before you try to do some shit like this. But if you're going to do shit like this, why don't you just cut the fucking rope? You know, common sense, you know, cut the rope. If you block and block because you're not getting the chance to cut the rope, that's different. Versus, why waste your time doing this shit when you can just turn the blade, cut the fucking rope. Makes more sense if you just cut the rope. You have a sword. Now if it's a wooden sword, you got a problem. So you can't cut the fucking rope, clearly. Because you can probably pry your hands loose. So now you have a fighting chance. Understand? Hopefully you understood that. But for the record, you can still fight like this. With your hands tied. Block, 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 block. Do I recommend this shit? Fuck no. But, so that you see me doing it, it can be done. But it's going to be taxing. Block, 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 block. Now, block, strike, 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 thrust. You're going to need to know some shit about sword fighting. Because if you don't, respectfully, you're going to die. I hope that I taught you guys something. Anything you missed, you can find on Comfort Havoc number 2 at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Because I got to go recharge my battery and end this video on my machine. Okay, it has not ended. But I'm ending it now. I had to push the light button. I was starting to panic, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, for Kung Fu Havoc number 2, I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Be seeing you.